Now, just as a additional point, we've talked about properties of isomers and stereoisomers. But what about for enantiomers? Enantiomers are a type of stereoisomer, but they're a special type. So, because enantiomeric molecules have identical sets of internal distances to the molecule, the physical properties of pure enantiomers are actually identical. This can cause some trouble, especially when one of the enantiomers is in active form biologically in the body and the other is not. So generally, they have the same boiling point, the same melting point, the same density. All of their physical properties are the same. However, their chemical properties can be different in their interactions with other molecules or phenomena. So, for example, our noses actually have receptors that can recognize the difference in a chiral center of a chiral molecule. So they can differentiate an R versus an S chirality. You can see here these two molecules, one is a R enantiomer and the other is the S. One is a smell and taste that we get from spearmint, and we would associate it with a spearmint oil. And the other you get from caraway seeds, and you would get a different reaction and smell from this within your nose. This is also important, especially for drug interactions. And in a medical context, for example, some drugs only their R or their S enantiomer are active, and the other enantiomer is inactive in our body. And that's just because we have special proteins, special enzymes in our body that will only recognize one of those enantiomers and not the other. So if you have two things that have the same physical properties, sometimes it's hard to separate them, right? We can't separate them based on their melting point or on their boiling point. And we can only, but we can tell the difference biologically between the two. So that's it for this particular chapter. Please review the other online resources I've given you to go over chirality centers, being able to identify chirality centers, and also to be able to identify an enantiomer. Sometimes I think that can be the harder part, so just practice and practice drawing these and rotating them and looking at what an enantiomer looks like.